Hello, and welcome to another episode of Extinct Rex Wings. And for this very special episode, we'll be featuring the LYKA custom Jurassic Park novel, Cearadactylus. But before we head on with this video, of course, happy birthday to Just GEDG. Happy birthday! And of course, the Guess SPECIE contest winners will be announced later on. Now, with the making of Cearadactylus. So here I'll be showing you how I actually kit bashed my Cearadactylus. You can see here that I have used a different part for the neck, as you can see here. And also used some clay to overlay our sculpt on some of the areas as well. You can see here that the wings are actually made up of the ball and socket joints. And of course, the feet here are actually from a minifigure arms. So I've adjusted also the leg so that it looks like that of a Dinosaur. So most of the parts here of the wings, or the membranes of the wings, are actually made of from rubberized foam. So the head here, you can see here, is actually made up of several plastic tubings for the teeth. And also I cut off the crest on the top of the pteranodon as well. So we have here our completed and also primered Cearadactylus. Now it's time for us to do the painting. So we'll be using some acrylics over there, of course some brushes, and some water. Now it's time for us to paint. So first up, we mixed some burnt amber, and then we added some white to it, and that is the color that we will be using on the underbelly or on the underside of our Cearadactylus. So usually it would take about 2 or 3 more coats on this, drying the acrylics in between. I know it's a little bit, but it's okay. We always try to achieve, really good opacity on all the paints. Now this will be the same color. We just added some peach colors to this one, and we're painting it on the membranes of the wings. So same as that of the underbelly, we take about 2 or 3 coats on this one, because whenever you would be folding on the wings, we don't want to chip it off. So it's good to have a good amount of layering on this particular paint. Now that that is actually done, we mixed some burnt amber and also burnt sienna together with a little bit of black, and we're painting it on top of the feathered sections of our Cearadactylus. So that would include the topmost portions of the neck, also that of the body, and also the arms of our Cearadactylus. So whenever you're painting, don't forget the crevices, because that's quite important especially for those moving parts. So here, using a fine tip brush, I'm painting on the edges of the wings. I'm being very careful not to overlay too much, because that's just a thin part of the paint scheme. Okay, so using a darker color of brown, this is burnt amber with a little bit of white. So we're painting on the feather details as well as that of the legs of our Cearadactylus. Okay, so the fur details on the back of the Cearadactylus would have different lengths of fur. So I'm using this fine tip metallic end of the brush, and painting in individual fur details on the figure. I know I usually paint very symmetrically, but when it comes to fur, you can actually do away with not having the same number of fur. That's just very OCD, but yeah. So here we painted the sections of the neck as well as that of the head white because we're going to use red colors. So this is a mixture of red, I think this is crimson, plus a little bit of orange. So we're painting this on the area of our head here. So at the moment, this actually reminds me of a vulture. So vultures actually have a featherless head and neck to it. So this actually reminds me of that one. Also condors. So here on the tip of the beak here is just orange, and also just to blend in with the initial colors that we have here, the red orange is actually also added to the light yellow orange here. And now for some finer details. So using a fine tip brush, I mixed in some pinks as well as orange together and a little bit of brown, and we're lining it or making several patterns on the wings, because the wings really is takes up most of the parts of this particular creature, so it would be best to have at least some level of detail on the wings of the Cearadactylus. And that's about it for our making of the Cearadactylus. I hope you guys enjoyed this particular making of the video and learned something from it as well. Alright, so now let's move on with the announcements of the Guess SPECIE contest winners. First up, we have 10 lucky picks. Here they are: Maddie, Ahmed, Stoltman, Just, Wombatman, Yvonne, Zakai, Emperor, Iraj, Hayam. Congratulations everyone, and our top 10 winners.
Top 10.
Aiden Stevenson,
Top 9.
Rooney ML Tangkilisan,
Top 8.
Duwang Khan,
Top 7.
Rex,
Top 6.
Sweltam,
Top 5.
Lance Gaming,
Top 4.
Dino Park Channel,
Top 3.
Ian Malcolm,
Top 2.
Zane Adventure,
Top 1.
and Colton Todd. Congratulations everyone, and I'll see you in the next Guess SPCE contest. For those of you who would like to join, here's how. Just click on the Extinct Bricks icon and it will lead you to the Extinct Bricks homepage. In the homepage, just click on that community link and it will lead you to all my posts. And now for some bricks. Okay, so we have our Cearadactylus here. Let's count the number of parts of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 parts of this. Let's start by connecting the neck here with the lower jaw. Now with the upper one, the head. Right. Now let's connect the legs here with the thighs. This one as well. Connect it to the body. Let's connect the head to the body as well. Then the wings. There you go. Our Jurassic Park 1 Cearadactylus. And now for some Extinct Bricks Dino Trivia. The Cearadactylus name means finger from Sarah. Later in the novel, they were confused by the characters with Cearadactylus, but Alan Grant recognized them as Cearadactylus. And here is our finished Cearadactylus. Finally, we have almost completed our listing of Jurassic Park 1 novel dinosaurs. And of course, one of the pterosaurs that were actually mentioned in that particular novel was the Cearadactylus. Alright, So Mara will be coming back later for some size comparisons. So let's just take a look at our Cearadactylus right now. So our Cearadactylus here, you can see, is a based off from the current how I actually make my pterosaurs. If you have been looking at the channel, my latest pterosaur was the Aero Titan, and it has foldable wings like so you can actually walk on all fours as well as taking to flight. So taking it off from our base here, or our base for its flight. So there are a lot of features that you can see here. So the wings have certain designs to it. So it has a pinkish, brownish markings here, a lighter same color on the wingspan in itself. It has fur details all over the body, as well as that of the legs as well. The underside is quite light, like see, and of course the head is red. So this particular pterosaur is actually based off from one of my go-tos in terms of a Jurassic Park art, which is Hellraptor, as you can see here. So he actually made a Cearadactylus that is with a red colored head. Right, so I think it's cool. It's a cool design, so I followed through with it. But of course, I made some modifications from my end as well. Right, so included in this particular pterosaur would be certain, articulation, so it can actually bend its head like so until this much. Although we don't have to do that yet. So it can also open and close its mouth like so. It has razor sharp teeth. Well, not just well, they're made of rubber, so technically they're not very sharp, so it won't hurt me if it bites me like so. No. It has this foldable wings, as you can see here. Oops, they're focusing. So the wings can actually fold like so. Right, you can fold this, so we can actually walk on all fours and adjust the legs as well. See, right, and it can also take into flight if you bring it back like that. All right, so the legs are also movable. So you can put it that way, or you can also put it this way, as if it's standing. Right. So yeah, so that is our Cearadactylus. It also has a 2x2 studs in the back. Yeah. So yeah, it also has this attachment on the bottom part as well, so that you can display it while it's in flight. Right. So that's our closer look on our Cearadactylus. Before we move on with everything Cearadactylus, let me just have a quick recap of what we had so far from the last video. So the last video is a Guanlong, which is this one. It's based off from the Dinotasia or Dinosaur Revolution documentary. And you can see here that it's really colorful. I like the way it was actually made. It's a bit larger than it should be, but I guess that's mine. So check it out, guys. Another would be the Labyrinthal Dotia. So the Labyrinthal Dotia is actually based off from the Jurassic World, the game. It's one of the first amphibious or amphibian creatures that you actually open up in the game, and I think it's really cool. The coloration is quite suitable for an amphibian, with those light blues as well as some highlights or lowlights of reds on the sail. Yeah, so check this one out, guys, by EB Toy Universe. Now let's move on with our Cearadactylus. And Mara's back. for some size comparisons. Alright, so the Cearadactylus is, as I've said earlier, is actually part of the Jurassic Park novel, pterosaurs or creatures there. So we will be comparing later on with some creatures that are also from that particular novel or Jurassic Park 1. Okay, so let's start with this one, of course, comparing it with the actual size of a Cearadactylus. And although it's a bit larger than what it is, in the novel, it is actually depicted as a larger species than its counterpart. So here you go. Alright, so Moira will just be going out and we will be discovering some of the creatures that we had so far in the novel. Let's start with the smaller ones to the biggest, right? Okay, so the smaller ones were actually sauropodon dinosaurs, and these are Microceratus. So definitely it could be one of the snacks for the Cearadactylus. It's a brightly colored ceratopsian that is actually most often depicted in some of the paleo art that are walking in hind legs. Alright, so I think they can also walk on all fours, but mostly seen on hind legs. Right, so yeah, so that's the Microceratus for you guys. Cute little vermins, right? Okay, so next up would be the Compsognathus. So we have here two of them as well. I think I have 4 of these, but I really can't find the other 2. Maybe they went off or wandered off somewhere. So we have 2 of these. Definitely also, although they're carnivores, they could also be snacks to our Cearadactylus who's flying overhead. Wow. Okay, so here are our what do you call this again? Compsognathus. Okay, so we have this Compsognathus. Next one would be also a smaller creature, however bigger than the other 2s that we have. So this is a Dryosaurus. Right, so our Dryosaurus here is much larger than what we had earlier on, but still smaller, I guess, in terms of size. When you compare it with Moira here, there you go. It's you can see the feeling that it's quite larger because it's around the shoulder height as that of Moira. Okay, so that's the Dryosaurus. I don't know if they could be prey for the Cearadactylus, but hey, for one hungry pterosaur, who wouldn't, right? Okay, so next up we have the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. I actually did a replay on this one a long time ago, and I named this one the big one. Okay, so our Velociraptor here, as you can see, is quite the same size as the regular raptors that we had for Lego. And although I'm wishing that I could, do more repaints of the older versions of our of my raptors from before, I would probably do that in the future. But for now, we'll just probably wait until the Jurassic World Dominion is completed. Such a big one, right? Big one, get it? Alright, so moving on to another comparison. This is the Styracosaurus. Right, so here's our Styracosaurus, one of the smaller ceratopsians from that particular novel. And although it's quite small, I think this is one of those ceratopsians that had the most decorated frills ever. So it has several horns on its frills like so, and one long one on its nose. So this one is actually based off from the Jurassic Park Operation Genesis Styracosaurus. So yeah. So moving on to the next one, we have the Euoplocephalus. So Euoplocephalus is actually first mentioned in the Jurassic Park novel, and it's one of those ankylosaurs that I actually known when I was still young, and I was actually proud to be able to make this one. as this is actually based off from the Canartoin line, Euoplocephalus that was not actually released from before, or was it? Let me know in the comments down below. Right, so another creature that we have is actually another carnivore. This is the Dilophosaurus from the novel itself. So the Dilophosaurus in the novel is described as a larger species rather than that of the smaller ones in the movie itself. It's a leopard-like tiger, you know, with stripes and also leopard markings on its body, a red what do you call this, crest on its head, and a long tail and a strong leg. So that is our Dilophosaurus. Definitely now larger than our Cearadactylus. Okay, so moving on to our size comparisons, we have this one. So I don't know guys if you have already seen this particular custom of mine. I think it's from last year. This is the Hadrosaurus. So the Hadrosaurus was actually one of the requested, you know, Hadrosaurs from before. So since it's actually from the novel, so I figured why not make one and then complete all the creatures in that particular novel, since that is the thing or the novel that actually started it all. And I just remembered, this one is actually one of GCL's requests, which is the Guess a Species champion from last year, or was it last year? Right. Okay, so moving on to the next one, we have another Hadrosaur. This is the Maiasaura. There you go. So as you can see here, the style of how I paint my customs have already been evolving, and this is just one of the starts from that one. This actually came with a smaller figure, which is a baby Maiasaura. Here you go, that you can actually put in the nest along with the eggs. So our Maiasaura here is just about the same size as what we have on the Dinosaur here, right? But much detailed in terms of how I painted it. So yeah. Alright, so moving on to our next comparison would be the Triceratops. So the Triceratops here is you know, one of those that were iconic in terms of the movie. It was seen you know, sickly and have eaten some berries that were quite poisonous. So this is the Triceratops. So this one is actually based off of the Prime Studios Jurassic Park 1 Triceratops. So yeah. Alright, so next, let's now move on to the next comparison. We have our Stegosaurus, of course. Yeah. Oops. This one's removable though. Let's put it back together. There you go. So, although this Stegosaurus is actually based off, or I made this from the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park: The Lost World. I just wanted to show you guys that the Stegosaurus is also part of the Jurassic Park novel. So yeah, so this is the Stegosaurus. I like it so much because it has, you know, it has the exact coloration as that of the Lost World Stegosaurus. But I do have another one, which is an earlier version of this one, which you might want to check out also in my Extinctrix playlist. Of course, we wouldn't go without comparing this one with the star of the show, or the star of the movie or novel, which is our Tyrannosaurus Rex. So Roberta in the Jurassic Park novel as its name, is now, we call her Rexy, just because it's much more, I guess, easier to remember, and it's much awesome, I guess. But Roberta is the Tyrannosaurus Rex mentioned in Jurassic Park 1. So yeah, this is our Rexy. So moving along, we have one last comparison. This is our Apatosaurus. Yeah. So Apatosaurus is actually, a large herbivore sauropod that was also in the Jurassic Park 1 novel. And I figured that since we're completing it, I had to add all of them here. I have one more dinosaur that need to be included in the list for Jurassic Park novel dinosaurs. That is the Nanosaurus. However, when I was actually googling it, I couldn't find adequate references that I could pattern from, or how it actually looks like. I know it's more of like an ornithilial type of dinosaur, but I wanted it to be more specific to the novel. Probably I will just be looking at the novel again and see how it was actually described. So yeah, we'll see, and probably will complete all the Jurassic Park creatures there. There's also mention of Meganeura, which is like a large dragonfly, but I don't know if I would be able to include that in the list. But yeah, we'll see in the future, guys. And that's it for our size comparisons. If you do have other creatures that you'd like to, of course, see here in our channel, Extinct Bricks, then please comment them down below. Alright, so also, Moira here would like to remind you guys that all that you see here are actually present in our Extinct Bricks playlist, but I'll be placing in individual links of all the creatures that you see here so that you will be able to see them on an individual basis. Alright, so let's move on with our Extinct Bricks Species Roll Call. Let's start with the farthest one. This is our Extinct Bricks Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Apatosaurus. This is our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Myosaura. These are Extinct Bricks, Jurassic Park Triceratops. These are Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Operation Genesis Styracosaurus. These are Extinct Bricks Jurassic World, Jurassic Park Microceratus. These are Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park repaint of the big one Velociraptor. Of course, this one is our Extinct Bricks Jurassic World Evolution, also Jurassic Park Bryosaurus. We have here our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Euoplocephalus, our Extinct Bricks Jurassic World Compsognathus. We have our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus, our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Lost World Stegosaurus, our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Hadrosaurus, and of course our Jurassic Park Jurassic World Tyrannosaurus by Extinct Bricks. Of course, the star of the show here, this is our Extinct Bricks Jurassic Park Cearadactylus. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will be placing in additional, clips of our Cearadactylus, so watch until the end of the show. Hey, cute chopper you got there. Well, nice meeting you, Mr. Cearadactylus. And that ends our video on our Cearadactylus. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Also, thank you so much for all your likes, your views, and your shares on this video. For that, maraming salamat. Also, please don't forget to support our other channels, CB Toy Universe and the Adventures of Moira and Asher. Please watch our videos and support our channel by subscribing. And as we always would say, let your inner dino brain roar! Thanks everyone and bye!